Alright guys, I wanted to do an update to my recent video comparing Molton Brown's Milk Musk to Eau De Parfum's Milky Musk. Two very similar names, focusing on the idea of a milky musk. But the reason I'm doing an update is because I picked up the Eau De Parfum version of Milk Musk from Molton Brown. So this is a comparison of these two mostly, but of course I'm going to discuss this one as well and how does it compare to the two fragrances. And also a little ranting about this brand. Unfortunately, I've had some really bad customer service and I don't like doing negative videos, but I thought I'd let you guys all know about it. Anyway, if you want to find out what the differences are between these two fragrances and also how it compares to Eau De Parfum's Milky Musk, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in to Sebastian Wood Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. You know, I enjoy the house of Molton Brown and I enjoy their fragrances. They're not overly expensive, although the prices did go up recently with their bottle changes. Obviously, the bottles are like this now, and they used to have different bottles. This is probably now the third time I've seen a change of their bottles since I got into this journey. When I was first getting into the perfume reviewing journey, their bottles used to be completely different. Then they changed and now they've changed again. Hopefully they'll stay. So I'll compare these two fragrances together, Milk Musk, Eau De Parfum with the Eau De Toilette, which I've had for a while. And of course I'll also discuss with you how it compares to this one, both of those fragrances. And then also a little rant about their customer service. Really bad. And I hate to do this, but I'm going to tell you my experience. But before I get to the review, if this is your first time tuning into my channel and you still haven't subscribed, please do click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So this is a British house that's known for their shower gels. They have some of the most amazing shower gels. I buy them all the time and use them. They're quite pricey, but they smell fantastic. They're kind of nice to combine with their perfumes of similar smells. So I think a lot of their shower gels do have perfumes after them. I haven't tried the shower gels of these. I'm still testing them out, but some of the ones I like are some Rosa Absolute is great. The Oud one is great, and a few others. The Black Pepper is, I think, is really popular from this house, and so on. So I enjoy their fragrances, but you know, I've had some really bad customer service. I buy with an account, obviously. I have my own account. I was trapped out of it recently, and so I requested, you know, a password change. So, unfortunately, it would never send me a password change, and so I reached out to customer service and I told them about it and they couldn't figure it out. So I had to set up a brand new account, losing out all my purchases from the previous account. So I did that, and I've ordered several fragrances here and there. Throughout that time, the password change issue came up like a year ago, perhaps. So I've ordered some fragrances for me. Obviously, I've ordered these particular fragrances, and I've also ordered some gifts for friends and relatives as well. And I ordered another order over Thanksgiving, Black Friday, that time frame. They had a really great discount. And so I lost it and I forgot about it. Go figure, I forget a lot of things because I like their deals and I take advantage of them. But then I started looking into it. I'm looking at my credit card invoices and so forth, and then I received an email from them saying, how are you enjoying your you know, fragrances that you bought? And I'm like, where are those fragrances? I never got them. So I looked into my account and they're stuck in processing. So this is something I discovered probably like 3-4 days prior to Christmas. So I reached out to them. I said, I sent an email. I said, look, what's going on with my order? I can't figure it out. No response, but I did get a response saying, we'll get back to you in 2 days. No response. Reached out to them again, all at the same time trying to call their 1866 number, and it goes to busy signal constantly. Nobody answers that phone call, and when they acknowledge that you've sent them a customer service inquiry, they say you can call us, blah blah this or that, or wait for us to get back to you in 2 days. So I've reached out to them 4 times, never heard a thing. I still can't get through to their customer service number. It's busy constantly, and they're not responding back to my inquiries about what's going on with my order. Anyway, I ordered 3 more bottles of fragrances, and I was taking advantage of the discount to order the Eau De Parfum versions of some of the fragrances. Sadly, it's stuck in limbo. It's stuck in processing, it says, and I don't know how to contact anyone to get my fragrances. Anyway, that's the negative part about this particular video, but let me know if you're fans of this house and have you had similar situations. Do you get good customer service? And also let me know if you like any certain product or fragrances from this house. Anyway, now going on to the review of these two fragrances, how they compare. Both of these fragrances were launched around the same time, I think exactly at the same time. Eau De Toilette is 100 ml for $120. Eau De Parfum is 100 ml for $160. So there's differences in prices, of course. You get a higher concentration of perfume oils with this one. And the smell does change a little bit. So always take that into consideration, that fragrances will smell a little different when they've gone from an Eau De Toilette to an Eau De Parfum and then to an Eau De Extrait concentration, or even step down to like a cologne concentration. But what are the differences here with this one? At the top you've got pear, peach, heart notes, musk, ambroxan, vanilla, base notes, white cedarwood, tonka beans. And with this particular one, at top notes is Elemi, heart notes, musk, ambroxan, vanilla, base notes, benzoin, tonka bean. So recently somebody reached out to me, probably it's been a little over a month when I first aired this video. They said, I picked up a bottle of this and I don't really like it. It's all woods to me. And I thought, oh wow, I hadn't bought this fragrance yet. So I ordered it at that time. I thought, my, is this going to smell like Eau De Parfum's Milky Musk? You know, it hints at it a little bit more than this particular fragrance, but in the end, it's not anything like this. Well, this particular fragrance is all sandalwood with a milky lactonic quality. It's very, very woody and creamy. So that's what this fragrance is mostly about. It's basically the sandalwood and musk together, I think. But if you like woody, sandalwoody, milky fragrances, check this one out. But there is no milk note in here, absolutely none. According to the Molton Brown website, these two fragrances do not feature milk as well. They're just musky fragrances that act milky. And for a comparison, this one does start out with that pear peach top notes, and for me, around this time, it reminds me of Angelique Noir from Guerlain. There's something in here that's reminding me of that fragrance, which I really love. I love Angelique Noir, almost like there's Angelica note in here, which they don't mention. Well, it transitions to a musk and ambroxan and vanilla in the heart. It is slightly vanillic, and it's also very you know, there's a metallic touch about this one that I don't know where it's coming from, and the further it dries down, it gets better for me, but in the heart notes is when I'm experiencing some slight silver-like metallic qualities. Just there's a metallic touch about it, and so it kind of, there's a point that I'm not enjoying this fragrance, but as it's settling down and drying down, it does go back to smelling as good as when it was first sprayed. But still, I think the heart notes, after testing this, I'm realizing I'm not enjoying the heart notes in this fragrance as much. Now going to this one, the initial spray is very woodsy and resinous. It's Elemi resin, and it does remind me of, you know, chopped woods smell when you initially spray it, and I thought, you know what, that's reminding me of this one, but when I compare the two, they don't smell alike at all. So this one actually gets better and better, and it dries down to a creamy, milky, musky experience. But again, there's no like real milk experience here whatsoever. So this one gets more delicious as it's drying down, but initial blast is very resinous and woodsy, almost like, you know, you've got all these chopped woods kind of a smell. So it's very, very woodsy at the top for me, including the resinous touches. This one, on the other hand, does also act very, very light compared to this one. This is a lot deeper and richer. Obviously, it makes sense because it's an Eau De Parfum. But for me, I didn't care for the start of this fragrance, but I like what I'm left with as it's drying down. It becomes smooth and vanillic and creamy as it's drying down. The benzoin note and base notes with the tonka beans works really, really great. And the vanilla also transitions over as well, which I really like that combination a lot. But if you've noticed, the notes are sort of similar, especially in the heart notes. In the heart notes, you've got musk, ambroxan, vanilla. In here, same thing, musk, ambroxan, vanilla. For me, the heart notes here are not smelling as great as here. So I think what they're giving us are different equations of the notes, because here it does get very metallic in the heart for me and I don't enjoy it as much. Sadly, that's a disappointing part about this fragrance, but what I'm left with later I am. This one doesn't go metallic whatsoever, so I think what they're doing with the heart notes here, the vanilla is very, very smooth and it's amped up further. It's like a lot more vanilla in comparison to the musk and ambroxan, I think. And I think that's carrying over to the base notes with the benzoin note. Benzoin is also very vanillic. It's a resin, so they complement one another. So it's a great dry down base notes experience for me with this fragrance. Sadly, I really enjoyed this one quite a bit when I first got it, but you know, the more I wear it, I just start hating the heart notes for some odd reason. I don't like the whole metallic thing in the heart. It smells kind of cheap, I should say. But the initial blast is amazing, and I really crave that initial blast, and it does remind me of the Angelica in Angelique Noir from Guerlain. I love that fragrance. I should actually review it. It's one of the underrated gems from the Guerlain L'Art et la Métier line of fragrances, and I should, and it does hint at this or vice versa. They're not identical fragrances, just reminds me of stages of that fragrance when I'm wearing this one. But thankfully, you go through that phase of not liking the fragrance and then back to enjoying the fragrance, because in the end, slightly woody and slightly creamy, what this fragrance you know, you're left with when you're wearing it. So those are my thoughts on these two fragrances. I don't know if you guys are fans of this house or these two fragrances, and if you've tested them out or compared them. Let me know what your thoughts are. I always love the idea of lactonic fragrances. Both of these, to me, I think don't necessarily go lactonic for me, especially since there's no milk in the notes. I don't get the milkiness unless they're not mentioning it, and the fact that if they don't mention it, still. I mean, what I'm saying is if they don't mention it and there is a milk note, I don't get much milkiness for myself and when I'm wearing it. The fact that this might go a little bit more creamy, but more like a thick cream rather than milk, you know, although they're both similar, it's just a thicker version of milk, but in the end, not very lactonic to me. I love lactonic fragrances, milky fragrances, and I was sort of looking for that with these two fragrances, and I never got them. But then again, they're focusing on musk mostly. It's a milky musk, and I think the effect is there. You do get the milkiness a little bit, and they're creating that effect with the notes they're using and combining together to create accords. One last thing I forgot to mention, both of the fragrances are slightly powdery, which we discussed recently in a powdery fragrances video. They're not overly powdery to me, but they are lightly powdery. So if you like powdery musky fragrances that are kind of sort of going to the, you know, dabbling in a little bit of milkiness, you might want to try these out. But get some samples prior. Again, I really love this, but the more I tested it, the more I started hating the heart notes. Other than that, I think it's a great fragrance. And with this one, once again, I did not care for the top notes. I did enjoy what I'm left with in the heart and the base notes. So it's kind of odd that there's something about each of the fragrances I don't care for, but they're pretty good fragrances, I think. Just if the heart notes smelled great in this one, this would be a great fragrance. Now it could be a chemistry thing as well, because when I was first testing it out, it wasn't really doing that for me. I don't know, maybe I overdid it and I'm like really like delving into the, I don't know, faults of the fragrance, but I just thought I'd share that opinion with you guys. And once again, these were both purchased by me. I did not receive these as a review fragrance. I buy a lot from Molton Brown. I buy their shower gels, as I said, really love them, and I really like their fragrances as well. And I take advantage of discount codes, so I'm waiting for 3 fragrances from them, and I don't know what's going on. So if you've had any issues with this house, let me know. Put some comments down. And also let me know if you like their fragrances and have you compared these two fragrances, Milk Musk Eau De Toilette and Milk Musk Eau De Parfum from the house of Molton Brown. Lastly, what are your thoughts about the closeness of these fragrances names? I forgot to mention that, but I did discuss it in the comparison of these two fragrances on another video. This is Milk Musk. This is Milky Musk. Milky Musk came out years before Milk Musk did from Molton Brown. Anyway, I think they're really, really close names, not identical, but it's a gray area. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Otherwise, please like this video, please share it, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.